Welcome to Junk Monkey Live. We've moved to Monday nights, and tonight we've got a special show for you. We've got Dealing with Dalton with us. We're going to be talking about shoes, and I'm going to mute my other channel on my other screen. I always forget to do that. I thought I had it muted, but I guess I didn't. Anyhow, folks, not only do we have Dalton, Dealing with Dalton with us tonight, we're going to be talking about shoes, tips, and tricks, and anything shoe related, but we also have a special unboxing. Excuse me. I have a special unboxing treat for you guys tonight, so stick around. That's going to be later in the show. Dalton, you just moved. You moved your whole operation from you were staying in an apartment. You had all your inventory in or most of your inventory in a storage unit. Mm-hmm. You've moved into a house, and you're 90% set up. How you feeling about it?
I'm feeling good. I'm ready to get cracking. I've been kind of, I don't want to say I've been taking a break because it doesn't feel like I've been taking a break because I've been moving, but
right.
From the reselling side of things, I've been kind of taking a break, and I'm past few days have been back to normal, feeling motivated. That's the best word for it.
We've got Swamp Picker in the house tonight. We've got Tina with the Lake Exchange, and I know we've got a few more coming, and we may even have a few lurking. But yeah, man, I know about moving. I was born and raised in the Navy, and I was in the Navy myself. Spent most of my life moving from place to place to place, and I'm going to tell you, shutting your business down, packing it up, moving it, and setting it all back up again, it's a chore.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Add on top of it, you're moving not just your business, but your entire life.
Mm-hmm. It's
hey,
not
Matt,
easy.
Thank you for that. I was going to do that later. Matt, the bearded PokeTuber, is here in the house. He's a shoe reseller.
He sure is. I normally see him in my lives every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Probably see him tomorrow morning.
Brett's in here. Brett is, I believe, is here in the Pacific Northwest with me.
Cool. Trying to get this. Trying to post this on my Instagram story real quick. Try to see if I can get a couple people on here.
A few more people to jump in here.
Yep.
Be kind of cool if we could get Drew and Joey in here. You know, Monday nights was traditionally the night everybody hung out with Joe and Drewy. But you know, life happens, and you know, they
fall off,
doing different things. And well, I decided to slip right inside the little hole that was left.
Yeah, fill the void for him.
Yeah. But so tonight we're talking about shoes. We've got a bunch of tips and tricks, and number one thing is everybody wants to know how to clean shoes, and there's a thousand ways to clean shoes, 1,000 products, and I have an arsenal of things that I use. Now, until I started talking with you and a couple other people, what has it been, 2 years now? A couple of years?
Just about, feels like.
Yeah, I was not an athletic shoe guy. I didn't like athletic shoes.
Okay.
Couldn't sell them, couldn't source them, didn't know how to clean them. But, you know, again, talking with you and a few other people, I've developed ways to clean and take care of them, how to source, what to source. Mm-hmm. And one of the first things people need to get is a collection of shoe trees.
Oh, that's right.
There are a ton of different shoe trees, and you have your own line of shoe trees.
Yes,
which
sir.
I own a couple of pair. And by the way, the smaller pair, they broke.
Oh, what happened?
I was putting them in a shoe, wasn't even all that small of a shoe, but they were a little too small for the next size up, and it just snapped off.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to get you some more in the mail.
I'm actually got a plan for this shoe tree.
Okay.
And the other one. But, you know, it's not like the bigger ones where it just twists and pulls out.
Yeah.
It's got the little flat tab, and it's got a little groove that it sits in there, and that groove broke off of it. But I have – now, I'm have to back up for just a second. I'm very good with leather shoes, like dress shoes and cowboy boots.
Okay.
And I'm very, very, very good at refurbishing them. And I actually kind of enjoy it. It's kind of cathartic for me. So I have a huge assortment of shoe trees. And a lot of people don't know this, but there's a lot of different types of shoe trees out there. Different shapes for different types of shoes.
Yep.
For instance, the wooden shoe trees, most of them are made out of cedar, and they're very good at not only keeping the shoe from creasing too bad for storing shoes, but they also help absorb moisture and odor. But they're also very good for reshaping shoes. But this one, for instance, is for a dress shoe.
Right.
And it's got the very low instep here.
And it's got that thrift store sticker on there. Is that what I
Still
see?
got the thrift store sticker on there. I get most of them from the bins, and sometimes I don't even take the sticker off. Now, in comparison, we've got this one, which has a very high instep on it.
Yeah.
These are for cowboy boots. And if you're trying to work on cowboy boots and refurbish them, you need that high instep.
Yeah.
If you can't find these, because they are kind of difficult to find and they're very expensive to buy new. These things can be $50 or $60 new. I'm not paying that. I'll just find them in the thrift store. But one thing you can do is just shove a bunch of paper towel or something in there. You got to keep that instep, or what shoemakers call the vamp area, filled out while you're working on it. And but yeah, there's a lot of different types of shoe trees. And then there's the type like yours.
Yep.
This is your shoe tree. It's good for most sizes of women's shoes from like a size 6 and up, and men's shoes up to like a 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I've noticed about your shoe trees is they have a higher instep, which I like. That's really good for, because here's another one that's got that's different type. That's got the low instep. Mm-hmm. So, when you're working on shoes, if you've got a high shaft on your shoes, the higher your instep on your shoe tree is, the better.
Right. It
fills them out better. You don't have that sunk in area, and it's easier to work against that surface when it's got something backing it up.
Right. And
these, man, I love these things because you can get them in and out quick, take your pictures, move to the next pair.
That's the goal. The goal.
Now, the wooden ones, when you're working with leather shoes, it's best to leave those in there right up until the moment you ship them out.
Right.
It helps hold that shape, keeps the toe from curling up.
Yeah. Not something I should probably start doing that. I just don't have a lot of the wooden ones. I just photograph them, put them in inventory.
Right. Well, I go to the bins a lot, and every time I find one, I throw it in my cart.
Right.
And if I find the other one, I'll go ahead and keep them. If I don't find it, I throw it back.
Yeah.
And one of these days, I'm gonna make a whole video on revamping or refurbishing leather shoes and boots. Yeah. And I'll go through all the different types of shoe trees, because we just touched on some basics here. There's at least 4 or 5 more types of shoe tree out there.
Yeah, I'll be learning a lot when you post that one.
It is really not that bad. Hey, Sarah, you're here. The Pickin' Preacher is here. Hey, Prophet Monster.
Hey, we got you
here. Good. How you guys doing tonight? Now, you're still selling your shoe trees, are you not?
Yeah, I sure
awesome. You guys, if you earlier on, Matt, Bearded PokeTuber, he posted a link to Dealing with Dalton's YouTube channel. Now, underneath all of his videos is a link to his merchandise. Correct?
I think he posted it too.
Okay. You got a link? Yeah, there it is. The best shoe trees on the market. He did. He posted a link directly to the shoe trees. Sarah, I don't know if you know this, but I did tell people that I've got a special unboxing. So no spoilers. We'll do that later in the show. So that's shoe trees. The next thing, you got to put shoe trees in the shoes while you're working on them. Right. Not necessarily. Now, if you're soaking them in a tub or anything, you don't need them in there then. But when you pull them up out of that tub, get them shoe trees in them. Now, there's also brushes, scrub brushes, polishing brushes, all kind of brushes. And I have some of my favorites with me tonight. Now, with the leather shoes, I use like the horsehair shoes brushes that have been around forever. Mm-hmm. And I basically have 2 different types. I've got this one that has a little bit stiffer of a bristle. In fact, I think this one is like boar's bristles. So it's a lot stiffer, and you can get the dirt and stuff off. You want to get as much dirt off when they're dry as possible.
Right.
Once you get them wet and there's all that dirt and mud on there, you can actually scrub the dirt and mud down into the grain of the leather. So get as much of it off with one of these as you can. And for polishing, I have one that's much, much softer. So you can get that nice soft glow on the wax after you wax them or condition them.
Yeah.
Speaking of conditioner, I don't have it sitting here right now, but I use Big 4. I know most people, they talk about the Dr. Martin's Wonder Balm or Balsam, whatever.
Mm.
I don't have any. I use the Big 4 because I just keep finding it in the thrift stores, and it works great. And a lot of shoe cobblers or shoe repair people, they use Big 4. So
I haven't tried it, but the Dr. Martens does pretty decent.
yeah, I'm sure it's great. Most of it is, but honestly, the best shoe conditioner on the market, or leather conditioner, not shoe conditioner, but leather conditioner in general, it's called Obernoff's.
Okay.
It's a little more expensive and it's more of a paste than it is a liquid.
Okay.
But it's the best leather conditioner, bar none. And a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
But now, in one of my recent shows, and that just reminded me, I owe you an apology.
What's that? Why is that?
Well, in my recent shows, I had a battle royale with eBay, and it was over item specifics.
Okay.
They burned me on an item specific that wasn't in the required; it was in the additionals, and it was a $3,000 burn on a Rolex. But anyway, I made the statement several times that every single reselling YouTuber that I've ever watched that talked about item specifics, every one of them said you don't have to fill those out. And I realized yesterday when I invited you to come in here with me, or the day before, anyway, I realized it wasn't true about you. I've actually heard you tell people fill as many of those things out as you can, and even use a template with all of that stuff filled out where you just go in and change whatever needs to be changed.
Correct. Yeah, I don't use a template. I know that they that's an option. I've honestly never even tried it. I just sell similar off listings
off
that
your
I
old stuff.
Yeah. So if I just find something that's super similar to whatever shoe I'm listing, and then all of those item specifics will already be filled out, and I just got to change a few of them. So it's basically a template, but just hit and sell similar.
So you're the only reselling YouTuber I've ever heard tell people to use as many of those item specifics as they possibly can.
Definitely not the only one, but
you're the only one I've ever heard say it.
That's fair.
Every other reselling YouTuber that I've ever listened to said they were not important, to ignore them.
Yeah.
And I found out the hard way that do not ignore those.
Yeah, I'd say if you're going to ignore them, so a lot of people, where they go wrong, and I used to do this too, is like it's common practice to like search comps and then hit sell similar off of one of those comps. And
I do that.
99% of people that are just casual eBay sellers don't care about the additional item specifics.
Right.
So if you're selling similar off one of those people's listings and they don't care about it, then they put the wrong stuff in, and that's going to transfer over to your listing. So if you're not going to put the additional stuff, it's better to change all of them to just like blank.
Right. I do always check the additional to make sure there's not something glaringly wrong in them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always go with the highest comp I could find, because obviously they did something better than everybody else that's selling that stuff. So I want the same advantage that they had.
Right. Correct. Yep.
Okay, that was a segue off topic, or mostly off topic. We'll get right back on it.
Let's do it.
I was saying that earlier, I told people about some cleaning brushes that I use, and they're these.
Okay.
These are actually for cleaning guns, which is how I knew about them, because I'm a little country boy and I have a lot of experience with that. I'm also a former military, so but these things they're double-ended.
Yeah.
You got the toothbrush side, and you've got the fine brush side.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing better for getting into the treads of a dirty shoe than that end. And believe it or not, these are not a lot. You can find these little small brass toothbrush brushes, wire brushes. Wow. These are actually bronze.
Okay.
And you can scrub fairly hard with these and do absolutely no damage to even the softest soles. And I promised people I'd get them a link on Amazon for where I got these.
Yeah.
So I am going to go pull that up right quick. get that link. Actually, what I'm going to do, because the link is like 5 miles long, I don't know if it'll work. So I'm just going to grab, this is on Amazon, folks. So I'm going to grab this title to this item, and I'm going to drop it in the chat right about there. So yeah, those are my favorite brushes, and they last longer than toothbrushes. Toothbrushes are much softer.
Yeah.
And so that's for cleaning. But there's one other brush that people get real confused about, and that's suede brushes.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 different types of suede brushes right here. There's a plastic bristle one that I just threw onto my keyboard. This little brush is so versatile. You can clean suede with it dry and get the dust and dirt, and you can get all the suede grain going in the same direction and looking good. But this thing is good for cleaning fabrics. And I love it for that. Like hats, it'll clean you with just that right there. You'd be amazed how clean you can get a dirty old hat.
Yeah.
And like fabric shoes, I've found that a lot of times I can scrub with this and get dry dirt off the surface. Now, if there's anything ground in, I still have to soak them, which is something we'll talk about in a minute. And then there's this one. It's the brass bristled one. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend this one to a lot of people until you've built up a little experience, because with this one you can go beyond cleaning and start damaging pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not real quick. I mean, you got to really dig in going at it to damage your shoes. But if you do get one of these little brass bristled suede brushes, go a little gentle and then build up until you feel comfortable with it.
Yeah. I try to steer clear of clean and suede, but I do have a brass bristle brush, and it does a pretty good job. Once you
I run into a lot of Colehans that are suede.
Yeah.
And with just these 2 brushes and one other, I can get them fairly decent, and then just take a damp generic Mr. Clean eraser and go over the midsoles. And I won't pick them up if they're really dirty or really stained, or if the suede has been polished down.
Right.
Or rubbed down smooth. Mama with the camera is in the house tonight. Christopher Nutter's in here with us. Awesome.
What's going on?
And the last one, and I don't even know where I got this one, but it's like a bunch of different brushes in one. And every once in a while, there's like a tight little spot I can't get with my other brushes. And this thing has some funky little edges and stuff on it, and it'll get down in there. So
I just actually bought one of those a couple weeks ago, because they had like an UGG, like the shoe brand UGG cleaning kit at Goodwill. Yeah. And so I figured I'd get it. It had the leather conditioner and all the whatever 3 bottles of liquid it had, but it had a brush like that with it.
This one is kiwi.
Yeah.
So, you should be able to find this in just about any department store in the shoe care area.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of that, the leather conditioner, the kiwi leather conditioner, I don't recommend it.
No.
It's very perfumey. And I actually had one customer mention it. Fortunately for me, they liked it. But I can just, I don't like heavy perfume smells myself.
Yeah, so. Me neither.
So be careful with that stuff. You get some stuff that doesn't have a strong odor. There's no need to put a heavy perfume into a leather care product. So, by the way, Pick and Preacher, thank you. I struck gold with the name of the channel, Junk Monkey. And yeah. Oh, what did I have up next? Oh, I was going to tell you what the broken shoe tree, but I got to do something different. I found the best way in the world to dry my shoes. That the ones that need the deeper cleaning, I have to soak them in a tub and really get in there and scrub them and just really, get them soaking wet. And, I even soak them overnight and then scrub them and rinse them. And I mentioned this in an Instagram thing, but golf club. Take the wet shoe, put it over the end of the golf club, lean it up against the wall in the sunny spot.
That'll work.
It works great for me. Unfortunately, this pair I soaked overnight last night. It's a pair of women's ACG Nike shoes, and when I put them in the sun to dry, well,
Yeah, I got to be careful with that.
they came unglued.
Yeah,
They may have been glued before. Somebody did a repair job because it looks like there's new glue on top of old glue. And so,
yeah.
anyway, these were priced at $8 and they were half off. So I only put $4 into them. I figured it was worth it. And they were so covered in mud that.
Yeah, I posted a cleaning video or a TikTok, and it was just cleaning a pair of Jordans or something, and it kind of got semi-viral for me at least. And everybody in because in the video I sat the shoes outside to dry in the sun, and so many people were going on about how you shouldn't put the shoes in the sun; it'll discolor them or mess up the glue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The discoloring comes from the shoes that they have like that raw leather.
Yeah.
And it will cause the water lines, which is something I know how to fix, but not in like an athletic shoe. Once the athletic shoe or the suede leather picks up a water line, throw them away. But I'm fairly certain this pair of shoes have had the toe box or the tread where it meets the toe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's been re-glued before, and they didn't use a very good grade of bubble gum to put it back together. It was $4. It was worth a chance because I could have sold them for $35, $40.
Right.
And that was leading up to the. I like having shoe trees in the shoe when they dry. So what I'm going to do is take like the shoe tree I got from you that ended up breaking, and I'm going to epoxy like a little piece of PVC in here that'll fit over the end of the golf clubs.
That'll make sense. Yeah.
So now I can dry them with the toe box held in shape.
That's smart. You should produce that.
No. I know my luck. I'd get swamped, and I don't have the materials or the time to make them.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I could contact one of these Chinese companies and have them make them.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
It's probably a great idea, and somebody in the future will probably watch this video and produce them and make $1 million, and I won't get a drop of credit. Oh, now we talked about this before we went live, but I have another tip or trick for shoes, and you actually knew this one, but I just recently learned it. I was scrolling through Instagram, and if I ever figure out who it was that I saw this tip on, I will absolutely give them credit. But I didn't come up with this. Apparently, it's something that's known amongst shoe people, and I didn't know it until a couple of days ago. But if you get your shoes and you get them clean, but they've got all those wrinkles in the midsole through here, or pretty much anywhere, there's lots of wrinkles in the midsole. And it actually makes taking the pictures, you can't hide them in a picture, and you got to show things like that. Otherwise, you'll get a return. And it makes them harder to sell. But good news is those wrinkles are easy to get rid of. Go to Harbor Freight and get you a heat gun. Now, I'm pretty sure in the Instagram reel that I saw, she was using a hairdryer, so it can be done with a hairdryer. It just takes a little longer. Yeah. And we're going to do it live for you right now. So there's the wrinkles. So we're going to, I use it on high. Don't stay in one spot too long. And these wrinkles are probably a little worse than any that I've tried so far. It's getting a little hot on my fingers.
I got to be careful.
Okay, we're going to turn that off because we don't want to do any damage. All right, folks, I'll show you this. Now, the wrinkles are gone. What you're actually seeing there is a little dirt that was in the bottom of the wrinkle, but that is absolutely smooth. I can go back over that with a damp cloth or a magic eraser, and those lines will completely disappear.
Yeah. Another fun tip for the heat gun. A lot of athletic shoes, just a lot of shoes in general, have like a plastic heel, and sometimes people will like damage it by like sticking their foot in and just like
the heel choker.
Yeah, the heel will be all bent and messed up.
here.
Yeah. And an easy way to fix that, if it's bent and unwearable, you can use that heat gun to heat the plastic up really good,
Right.
and then form it with like a towel, or just stick your hands in there and get it
Right.
nice and smooth. If
Or
you
the
haven't,
leather or the wooden shoe trees to hold it in shape.
exactly. If you have like an iron, that's
Yep.
technically the easiest or the right way to do it. But I
Yeah.
don't keep an iron with my
How about a
cleaning stuff.
steamer?
Exactly. Or a steamer would work. Yeah.
I got a nice big roll around steamer. I bet it would work on that because
Yeah,
I pass on a lot of shoes that have the heel counter crushed.
Yep. Yeah.
I'll
Heat gun.
try that next
Heat
time
gun.
I find a halfway decent pair that's got the heel counter a little crushed. I'll give that a try. And Mama with a camera says her Jiffy steamer works for that.
Cool. She said, "Do you think it destabilizes the support of the shoe at all? Not after it cools back down, I don't think."
There's another shoe channel that I watch, and he's specifically a cobbler. He rebuilds very high-end shoes, and he charges a lot of money.
Yeah.
His channel name is Beto's Leatherworks. And today I watched a video of him. Somebody bought a brand new pair of Shell Cordovan boots from Allen Edmonds, and one of the toe counters, the support, it's the same plastic as they use for the heel counter, but it was very soft. So he had to take the shoe completely apart, make a new plastic toe counter for the support, and put it in there. And he shaped it with a heat gun.
Really?
Yeah. He had the last from Allen Edmonds that those shoes are built on. So he just heated it up with a heat gun, wrapped it around that last, and held it in place till it cooled off, and held its shape, and trimmed it, put it in the shoe, good to go.
Nice.
So I don't see why you couldn't do the same thing with a steamer on the heel counter.
Right.
Which I've seen him replace a lot of those too.
Yeah.
And if you guys really want to learn how to clean, polish, and refurbish leather dress shoes, there's another channel out there I watched, and his old videos are the ones you're going to want to watch, and he's called The Elegant Oxford. So real good channel to watch if you want to learn how to restore leather shoes.
Yeah.
Polish them and condition them, all of that. He shows how to customize them too, put like the marbled or the burnished look on them. Well, I think that's all the tips and tricks as far as cleaning and refurbishing shoes goes. And
yeah.
I seem to be the only one talking.
Oh, I'm
camera shy on me, or am I just talking too fast for you?
You're teaching me a lot of stuff tonight. I am a shoe seller by trade. My cleaning and restoring is it could use some work. I've learned a little bit here.
I started out the hard way. I went to the bins and I bought like a whole cart full of old, just trashed shoes, and started trying everything under the sun to clean them and bring them back. And I was not very successful, but I did find some ways to really screw some shoes up.
There you go. Yeah.
And I kind of advise people, if you want to learn how to clean shoes, watch as many videos as you can, but don't experiment on good shoes.
Right.
Go to the bins and buy some trashed out shoes with maybe different problems on them, and try your hand at those. Fix that problem. Maybe not bring that shoe back to life to resell.
Right.
But learn how to deal with specific problems like stains, which is my last tip that I almost forgot about. Sometimes when I get done cleaning a pair of shoes and I dry them, right at the opening of the shoe, there'll be like a stain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it drives me nuts. And I'm like, I am not re-soaking them and restarting all over. OxyClean stain removing pen.
Yeah.
It's got the an OxyClean liquid in it. It's got the little nib on the end of it there. Anyway, you push down, it releases some of the liquid, and you scrub it around, and you just keep doing that until the stain disappears or the pen runs dry, and then you blot it dry.
Nice.
So those annoying little dark spots on the, like if there was it's got a light color. If there was a spot right here and this was fabric instead of leather,
right,
I could take that stain out.
Yeah.
And
I'll have to try that one out. Another one, like, for definitely depends on the material, so you got to kind of like, test it out and learn how it works. But the shout spray, if you spray like if you have a dirty upper material,
Right.
spray it with Shout, let it sit for like 5 minutes, and just run it through the washing machine on cold.
I've had to learn how to clean shoes without the washing machine because we have the HE without an agitator in it,
Okay.
and it uses very little water, and the shoes just kind of float on top. And
Yeah.
I've even tried throwing blue jeans in on top of them to kind of
Mhm.
hold them down. And
Doesn't work.
I have the wrong kind of washing machine, and I'm not going to go buy a washing machine just to clean shoes.
Yeah, I don't.
But yeah, if I had the right kind of washing machine, don't think I wouldn't throw them in there.
Yeah, it does the job, especially with that Shout spray. It's so good.
Kathy from Ginger Marvin is here.
What is up?
Kathy, we've gone through a lot. Now, Kathy, she sells a lot of shoes.
Yeah, she does.
But she's like a lot of us. She doesn't like cleaning shoes. And ladies and gentlemen, trust me, if you take one thing away from tonight's show, buy the cleanest shoes you can get.
Bingo.
Because once you learn how hard it is to clean really dirty shoes, you'll stop buying those things. It doesn't matter if you can bring them back. There's too much work to bring them back.
Right.
Because that digs into your time, and time is absolutely money.
100%.
So it's good to have that knowledge and that skill in your arsenal, but don't rely on it 100% because it's a lot of work cleaning shoes.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've picked up shoes knowing that I can clean them, but then they just end up sitting because I don't want to clean them.
Guilty.
Yep.
I've got one particular area that shoes like that end up, and a lot of times what it'll be is like those ACG women's hiking shoes that I just showed you.
Yeah.
They're $8 and they're half off sticker that week. And I'm like, I'll buy these, and if they turn out good, it'll bring my cost of goods down on average. Yep. And if I can bring them back and I can sell them, I'll make a little more profit.
Yep.
But these days, one of the things I check that used to catch me a lot is when there's holes worn inside the lining of the heel area.
Yeah, those can be hard to catch.
Yeah. Well, in most thrift stores, their lighting is not the greatest.
It's terrible.
The lighting sucks.
Yeah.
And I miss stuff like that. Or I'll grab them, I'll throw them in, and I end up with so much stuff because I tell myself when I throw them in there, I'll check these before I leave.
But then
I get all the way home, and it's like, dadgummit, I forgot to check them. And the only thing worse than that is on forgetting that you only have one of the pair.
Yep, I can imagine. I don't do a lot of.
Anybody that's ever been to the bins knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Luckily for me, though, when I go to the bins here, the shoes they just suck so bad that I'll have I'll easily be able to look and see what I have, and it's hard to forget that I only have one match of stuff.
Right. Athletic shoes, for the most part, are the same for me at my bins. Mm-hmm. However, I do get lucky with cowboy boots and dress shoes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of resellers don't pick them up.
Right.
And like I said, I will pick up a pair of dress shoes or cowboy boots that are pretty damn beat up.
Yeah.
Because I know I can bring them back, and it's not that difficult for me. And it's actually fairly easy. It's just time consuming.
Right.
Like I'll work on a pair of shoes for 20 minutes, then they have to dry overnight.
Right.
I'll work on them 20 minutes again the next day, and then they have to dry overnight. So, it takes 2 to 3, 4 days to get a pair of dress shoes or cowboy boots brought back good enough to get top dollar for them.
Yeah.
But if you can get them to come all the way back, some of them, they're not $35 pair of boots.
Right.
They're a $100 pair of boots or a $200 pair of Lucchese boots. And
right.
I can bring those pretty beat up shoes back pretty far.
Yeah.
Whereas if I run across your average run of the mill athletic shoe at the bins, there's no bringing those back.
Right.
So I've seen people in there, they fight over shoes. They got like cart overflowing with beat up athletic shoes and stuff that even if they're in great condition, they don't sell. So I don't know why
that's them flea markets.
It's not my job to educate them in the bins. If they want to get educated, they can come watch your channel or come watch us live.
There you go. I think Tina asked what my best-selling platform was.
I was going to mention that.
My best-selling platform is eBay by far, and then Poshmark. I only sell on eBay and Poshmark, but eBay takes the cake.
I switched. I added Poshmark to my reselling a little over 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell you, it changed my shoe selling.
Yeah.
Uh, Women's athletic shoes, for some reason, they do not sell for me on eBay.
Yeah, that's true.
I was completely overstocked, and for months wouldn't even look at the women's shoe department because they just weren't selling for me on eBay.
Right.
Once I got on Poshmark and I started cross listing them, I found myself running out of women's athletic shoes. So I started sourcing them again, and they sell better for me on Poshmark.
Yeah. Poshmark definitely. If we're only talking women's shoes, I probably do sell more women's shoes on Poshmark than on eBay. It's probably pretty close though, but I do feel like Poshmark's the platform for women's shoes.
Yeah. High-end dress shoes and boots also do better for me on Poshmark. In fact, my highest Poshmark sale to date is a pair of Blundstone Chelsea style boots.
Yeah.
And I recently sold that pair of Rothy's that I tagged you in the picture of on Instagram. Man,
Nice.
those things were like new. They had
Yeah.
just like the slightest little stain on the treads.
Yeah.
But other than
Nice.
that, they were brand new.
Been seeing a lot of those lately.
That's the first pair I've run across.
Yeah.
Hokas, I find Hokas fairly often. And the resale value of them, they still sell.
Right, but not
But
like
the value is starting to fall a little, and the lower end condition shoes
Yeah.
are bringing a lot less and taking a little longer to sell.
Yeah, I think it's just I mean, the company's, maturing now, and there's a lot more older models that we find now.
Right.
Because still, if you find a pair of, what are they on, Clifton 8s? I think the last pair of Clifton 8s that I found.
I just sold a pair of Clifton 6s.
Yeah. The what'd you sell the 6s for?
Somewhere between 40 and 50.
Yeah, I sold the 8s for, I want to say $90, and that's just how quick people want the newest model. It's like cars, man. They want the 2023, 2021. That's old news.
The second and third best condition newest pair of Hokas I found. My wife stole one pair of them. My daughter got the other pair. The most expensive pair of Hokas I ever come across were actually Hoka hiking boots.
Yeah.
They look like something out of a space age movie or something. But I sold those for a little over $200.
Nice. I haven't found any of the higher end hiking boots. I found a couple pairs before, but first off, they weren't in great condition. Second off, they were an older model. The most I've gotten out of Hokas is I want to say 150. They make Bondi LTR or something like that. Bondi, they're like leather upper Bondis, and they have the slip resistant outsole.
Okay.
They're made for.
They're like work shoes.
Work shoes.
They're Hoka's brand of Hoka.
And those sell really, really well.
The most expensive pair of work shoes I ever sold, believe it or not, were Skechers. What are the ones with the round bottoms? Shape ups.
Yeah.
They made a work shoe. Skechers did the shape up work shoe. They had the slip resistant and they had the safety toe on them. I found a pair of those brand new and sold them for over $200.
They didn't crumble on the buyer now, did they?
Oh, they were brand new. I know the girl at this particular Goodwill. She had the box in the back, but they're not allowed to put the brand new shoes that come in with boxes. They force them to throw the boxes away because they don't fit on the shelf right. Nice.
That's so dumb.
I asked her to go back and get them for me, and she said she had already crushed it. So, but they still had the new tags, hang tags on.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't stand
it. It took a couple of weeks, but I did sell that pair of shape ups for $200.
Yeah, nice.
It's the only pair of shape ups I've ever bought.
I've been burned on a few.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: are there any new brands or shoe types to look for that you've recently stumbled across that have decent resale value, like a new boat?
I'm trying to think. There should be. I picked up a brand for the first time the other day. I don't know if this is a good brand necessarily to just say always pick up. I picked these up yesterday or the day before. They're called Hybrid Green Label. There wasn't a lot listed. There wasn't a lot sold, but there were definitely some sales in the 40 plus shipping range. They were just really good quality leather sneakers. So we'll see how those do.
And what was that name brand again?
hybrid green label.
Hybrid green label. All right, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot. I mean, because there's not a lot listed on eBay. There's not a lot sold on eBay. I'm just took a chance on them because they were, like I said, high quality.
You know what surprises me a lot of time is a lot of time you find something and you know it's a quality item.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any resale value.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's
Case in
weird.
point is Allen Edmonds dress shoes. I know good because I buy my new direct from Allen Edmonds.
Yeah.
And they're anywhere from $200 to $400 for their standard models of dress shoes. But the resale value on them is only 35 or so up to around 65 or so in great condition.
Yeah.
And they're $200 to $400 retail.
Yeah, it's weird. And it just has everything to do with model, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, here's something that everybody should learn about Allen Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
They make the same shoe. Everybody knows that Allen Edmonds has the model name inside the shoe on the sock liner, on the heel liner, and the bottom of the shoe. Like Park Avenue, Fifth Avenue, Craig's. There's a bunch of different names for their shoe models. Always, always, always run the model number through the sold comps.
Yeah.
Because they make the exact same named model from a leather called shell cordovan. Mm-hmm. Shell cordovan is a very special kind of leather that is very expensive. And if you find a pair, instead of being a $25 to $35 pair of shoes, it just became a $400 to $700 pair of shoes at resale value.
Yep. I actually found a pair of Churches recently that were shell cordovan, and I got those listed for $400 right now. So
shell cordovan is the cashmere of leather shoes.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what brand it is. If they are shell cordovan, they will resell.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the international shipping, turning it off and blah, blah. I don't worry about it. I only ship through their, what used to be GSP is now eBay International Standard. Since they switched over, I may have had 3 sales through the new international thing. So, and I really don't worry about it.
I'm kind of late to this party because I think did they completely do away with GSP?
Yeah, GSP is gone. eBay International Standard is now in effect.
Gotcha.
And like I said, I have not had very many. Apparently, it's because eBay bought out Pitney and Bowles or Bowers, whatever company was doing their international shipping for them. eBay bought them out and not so much broke them up, but set up shipping centers across the world, across the nation. So instead of everybody shipping to one spot in Kentucky, now there's, like, for me, I have one, I think it's in Seattle or Portland.
Oh, that's nice.
So whichever one you're closest to, and that one is closest to whichever country they're going to. Like I said, apparently, though, it's also way more expensive than GSP used to be because my international sales have tanked.
See, that's the problem I had with GSP. I always gave the buyers the option because you could turn on 2 shipping options. Right. So I'd have GSP, but I'd also have international standard delivery, which is pretty much you just ship it straight to the buyer instead of going to the hub. 90+% of my international sales would always come through international standard delivery just because I think it's, first off, faster and cheaper for the buyer.
Yeah, I stopped doing international business 12, 13 years ago.
Why is that?
Through eBay. Well, until COVID hit, I was strictly a antique, vintage, and luxury watch dealer. And I did strictly auctions. And the biggest scammers in the world at the time were scammers buying watches through international and then opening a case, and they get to keep your watch and you're forced to refund them the money. So I shut all international shipping down. Yeah. When they came up with GSP, once I signed up for it, because once it reached Kentucky, I'm free and clear.
Right.
So that's the only reason I did GSP is because, like I said, once it reached GSP, I'm free and clear my money.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about anything. But now I still don't have to worry about anything because I'm not making any international sales. So, and
Yeah.
I don't like to do this. I do these like this and that like that. The basic listings for me have to have all the same setup, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn on international for one, but not for another, because I would personally make a mistake and it would cost me. So anything that is easily messed up by me, I shut it off and I don't use it.
Love it.
Because, for instance, even on GSP didn't pick up a Rolex sale for me, and it should have, because the country was Italy and the address was to a waste management plant outside of Milan, I think.
Okay.
So it was a sewage treatment plant outside of a big city, and I'm like, no, there's no way I'm shipping this Rolex there. And you guys, I had to call eBay and get them in on it, and I'm like, you guys messed this up, not me. So I ended up having to cancel that order and redo the auction, and it's too big a headache and too easy to get burned. The kind of stuff that I sell, other than shoes and general reseller stuff, is I sell the high end watches, and if I slip up on one of those and it goes overseas, I'm not out $1,379.
Right.
Goodwill. I'm out a couple of thousand.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a little different on that kind of stuff with shoes. If I get burned, which I never have on international sales yet. So, but if I do, it's only
But the scammers aren't targeting people with $30 shoes. They're targeting people like me who have $5,000, $10,000 Rolexes.
Right.
And it's just too big a risk for me.
Right. Makes sense. Makes complete sense.
So I never, and I did have some bad dealings with overseas buyers in the past, and it became such a headache, and it got to where it was like every month I was having to deal with the issue with an international buyer, even as close as Canada. And I'm like, nope, no more. Shut it all down.
Yeah.
But Tina's right. The new international eBay International Standard, EIS, I think is what they call it. If there is a return, eBay handles it.
Right.
They might let you know that it's getting returned, but you get to keep your money, and the buyer gets their money back.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how long eBay's going to be able to keep that up, because no matter how hard they try, they can't keep the scammers off. And so I have a feeling it won't take long. They'll stop doing that.
Well, I feel like since it's actually eBay's money, they're not going to put up with scammers. I think it was easier to, push that off on the sellers when it was the seller's money. Yeah. But now that it's eBay's money, when they see the scammers coming in, they're probably going to put their foot down.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they're probably going to put the foot down on us instead of them.
You're not wrong.
So again, that's why I don't mess with it. If the day comes where they do put the returns back on us for international sales, I'll turn that mess off too.
Yeah.
Let me see what's on my list here. I'm going to go through. Oh, there we go. Orthopedic shoes. Now, I've heard you talk in your reels and your YouTube videos about don't sleep on the orthopedic shoes.
Yep.
So I see them all the time. And then this past week, I found a pair that were in just mint condition, like new, and I picked them up. And I think I've got them listed. I do. They are listed. Mm-hmm. We'll see how that goes. So talk to us a little bit about orthopedic shoes. What kind of experience do you have with them? How good are the sales with them? Are there any particular brands for them that you have to look for?
Yeah, I mean, it just like anything else, it varies. But the thing they have going for them is the people that are buying them need them, not necessarily want them. And retail, they're ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
So it has that going for it. So since the people that are buying them need them, and the retail is really expensive, the resale prices are usually pretty decent. Some of the best brands that I have sold in the past, Orthofeet, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. That's
Comfort.
the ones I got. Orthofeet, BioFit.
Yep. The BioFit ones are really good. What I say? Fin Comfort. I mean, Bionic's technically an orthopedic shoe, or
Bionic is. I did not know that.
Some of their models are.
Yeah.
Just mainly those. I don't find a whole lot That's obviously a very small percentage of what I sell, but the main one that I keep an eye out for is Ortho Feet. They're the best selling one.
All right.
In my experience.
Well,
And
I'll pick a few more pair up. I'm not going to make a decision off just one pair.
yeah, and I found
the reason I picked those up is, number one, I heard you talking about them, and number two, they were in tip-top condition. So
yeah, and that's another kind of shoe that I found that I'll still pick up if they don't have insoles, because a lot of those people will also be replacing them with their custom fit insoles. So
Kathy from Ginger Marvin says that Aetrex, Aetrex, they're for women's sandals, do good.
Those do really well on Poshmark. I feel like every single one of those that I've found, they sell for full price, $49 every time.
Yeah, now, those orthopedic shoes, I know how expensive they are because I was diagnosed wrongly with plantar fasciitis a couple of years back, and the shoes can be $200, $300, $400.
Yep,
easy. It turns out that I didn't have plantar fasciitis. What I had was shoes that didn't fit right. And for the first time in my adult life, I went and had my feet measured. And it turns out that I have extra wide feet. And when you shove a double extra, I wear a 4E. And when you shove those into a D width shoe and wear them every day, all day, it does some pretty nasty things to your feet. So once I found out I had extra wide feet and I started wearing extra wide shoes, which are not freaking easy to find.
No. And everybody should be wearing them, even if you don't have extra wide feet like measured, because just standard width shoes are cramping.
Way too narrow. Your feet,
way too narrow.
Your toes get scrunched together, but my InStep is extra wide, especially on my right foot due to a very old injury. So it's not only wider, it's thicker.
Yeah.
So when I switched over to the extra wide shoes, my feet started feeling a lot better.
Oh, I bet.
Let's see what we got. One last question for you, bro.
Layer on me.
Man, for the last several months, after 3.5 years or so, 4 years now almost, I have been just obsessed with reseller content on YouTube to the point where it got to where I wasn't watching anything but reseller content. But over the last several months, I found myself not being able to watch as much reseller content. So basically, what's your favorite non-reseller content creator on YouTube?
That's a good question.
Have one. I mean, is there something you watch, or a type, or a channel, or like the rug cleaning things?
Yeah, I mean, my entire TikTok feed. My TikTok feed is frogs and terrariums right now. I don't know why, but I'd say
it's interesting, and it gets your mind off of this work.
Yeah, it is. I'd say on YouTube, a lot of the content that I watch on there is like content about creating content and like dissecting other people's videos and like what made their videos good videos. I just get nerdy about that.
That's going to end up being the same thing as reseller content. It's work related content.
Yeah, you're right. That's why I was hesitant to answer with that.
Every man needs his boat.
Yeah,
you need something outside of business.
Yeah,
to relax with once in a while. So.
Yeah, for me that's TikTok, less YouTube, because usually when I sit down at YouTube, I'm watching longer videos, like whether it's educational or just like informational. It's never really to just like take my mind off things. I do that on TikTok, cottage cheese TikTok. I've been working with some cottage cheese recipes lately.
It's always for me. It's been. I grew up as a shade tree mechanic, and there's this one channel here on YouTube called Puddin's Fab Shop, and he's also got Puddin's Fab Shop 2. In fact, I was watching one of his new videos just before we started. But he builds cars. He's an old country boy. He cuts up, acts up. He's got some comedy mixed in, and so I watch him a lot.
Yeah.
And the Beato's Leather Works. He repairs shoes, but he also throws in a little comedy, and I guess that's sort of kind of related to what I'm doing, but still.
Speaking of repair, there is a channel that I watch from time to time. I think it's called Tronics Fix. He fixes electronics, and he'll get like like video game consoles or computers that have like water damage, and it's just
Oh
him.
yeah. I
Yeah,
watched one of those. There's a
yeah.
guy who does a lot of video games, and oh man, I can't remember the name of his channel off the top of my head, but he repairs a lot of like electronic toys and
Mhm.
video game consoles and things like that.
And yeah, I don't know what it is. Just watching people like fix the little tiny circuits on the
Yeah.
motherboard and like replacing them is just satisfying.
There's a
I've
guy
never.
in Germany I
Yeah.
watch a lot of. He's called the Apocalyptic Inventor.
Yeah.
He goes to scrap yards, like heavy metal scrap yards, and he
Uh-huh.
buys like old tools and equipment, takes them back to his shop, breaks them all apart, and he either repurposes them into new types of machinery or he fixes them.
Nice.
And it can be anything from an old handheld grinder all the way up to a vintage Sony stereo system. He goes through and does all the electronic stuff and explains what he's doing, and it's real interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Lori wanted to know what I'm making with cottage cheese, and it's all I care about right now. So I'm gonna take the time to talk about it. If you mix some cottage cheese in with your scrambled eggs, I've been having that all the time. It just adds a little protein. It makes them nice and cheesy and creamy. Love that. You can throw some cottage cheese in a blender and add some maple syrup, some vanilla extract, and you make ice cream or cookie dough. Throw some like chocolate chips in there. I've been meaning to make some bread. You can make bread out of cottage cheese, and it's low carb, high protein. That's been on the to-do list, but cottage cheese is pretty versatile.
I every once in a while I'll crave a little cottage cheese, and I like it two ways. But now I'm going to try with scrambled eggs. But sometimes I just like a little bit with some black pepper on it.
Yeah, you can't
And
go
the other
wrong
way
with
I
that.
like it is with peaches.
Oh
Just
yeah,
open up a can of peaches and mix peaches and cottage cream together, make a small bowl of it, and have a bowl of cottage cheese with peaches.
yeah. Do you like everything seasoning?
No, I don't
No?
use a lot of seasoning blends. The only seasoning blend I'll use is Tony's Sachet.
Gotcha. The everything goes pretty good on it, in my opinion. I like it.
Hey, Ping, how are you? Yeah, I moved. I even put it on Instagram. We moved. You're going to want to rewatch this one, Ping.
What a ping. Tina had another one, cottage cheese instead of ricotta and lasagna. Run it through the
I think I've had that before.
That's delicious.
Yeah. But let me look over my notes right quick. We already talked about, somebody else brought it up, but Poshmark versus eBay. Yeah, I think that's it, man. We got one last thing to do on the channel tonight. Hey, is Sarah from the Daily Cabbage, are you still here? If not, somebody shoot out a message to Sarah and tell her to get back in here, because
it's unboxing time.
It is unboxing time. Oh, there was one tool that I forgot to mention. I just saw it. And that's the little rubber erasers for working on suede.
Yeah.
I have found that if you have like one of those small little shiny spots in the suede, not like the half the shoe, but just like one little wear spot where the nap of the suede got laid down and kind of polished, you can take that and revive it somewhat, fairly well. You won't bring it 100% back, but you'll make it look a lot better than a bad spot. So there she is. Hey, Sarah. All right, folks, a few weeks back, I'm in one of my favorite Goodwills, and there were Cabbage Patch dolls everywhere. And I was talking to the manager that works there that I know, and she said they were not allowed by corporate to put them out. They had to send them all in, and they apparently got tired of getting the ones that aren't worth anything. So they're like, just put them on the shelf. And every time I find a Cabbage Patch doll, I take pictures of it, and I shoot the pictures over to Sarah at the Daily Cabbage on Instagram. And 9 times out of 10, she tells me it's only worth $20. And wherever I'm finding it at, they want $10, $12, $13, $14, $15 for it. So it doesn't make sense for me to buy them. This time was different. And that's what's in the box. So what I did is I boxed up a whole bunch of Cabbage Patch dolls, and I sent them all to her. And she thought she was buying this box full of Cabbage Patch dolls for $100. Turns out I'm not charging her a dime. there was one that I wanted to keep for resale, and better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I sent that one along with it. I said, I'll tell you what, fix this one. Work your magic on this one doll and forget about the $100. And she agreed to it. Thankfully. And that's what we got. I'll show you guys a before picture as soon as I can find it again. Thought I had it queued up already. Because there's two pictures there that I want to show you guys. Here we go. Here is the before picture of the little guy. I don't know if you guys can see this. There. He's a little dusty, a little musty. His hair's all kinked up and nasty, and I'll show you guys the other picture real quick, because this is something very rare that you never see. There it is. Believe it or not, both of those Cabbage Patch Kids came out of the same mold. It is called Head Mold 19. And they are two of the most sought after, as far as I can know or tell. I'm not the expert, Sarah is. But the Head Mold 19 and the head mold you'll find on the back, we'll show you in a minute. Well, not on this one, but anyway, it's very rare to find one, much less two in the same spot. So I just got it back. I got it right here. I've got the one that she redid for me, and she is very, very good at refurbishing these things. Yep, it's the best head mold. Okay, Sarah, I noticed you put a "Do not open with blade" sticker on here. Well, I want to chance it. I'll put it in, put the blade in sideways, not straight down. There we go. Think we're safe. Ooh, did a great packing job. And I will reuse this tissue paper. All right, let's get this little guy up out of here. I've already seen pictures of him. Oh, man. She does a great job packing these things up. All right, let's see. I want to tell you, you must have some of the happiest customers out there, because you do a great job. I didn't stab him. But she put stickers in and just does a great job with these things. We're trying to talk her into doing some videos on how to refurbish these things.
Yeah.
Because she really does a great job.
I mean, it looks like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, his little jacket was all dried and cracked, and
yeah,
man, you can see a little wear, but he's 30 years old or so. But he's really great. Awesome. You're not going to believe what the sold comps on these little guys are. I only found one other sold one, and he sold on an offer. There's a couple of listed that people are asking like $1,500 for one of these.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And then there's one sold on offer. When you look up sold comps, it was $750. But I went into Terapeak and looked, and that one actually sold for like $425, $450, something like that.
Uh-huh.
So not too bad. I picked up, I think, 6 of them, and I paid like $4 a piece for them. So not too bad of a return.
Yeah, not too bad at all. I would have walked right past it, I can tell you that.
And ladies and gentlemen, the head mold will be on now you can't see it on this because the hairstyle covers it up, but right here on the back of his head, there'll be like a number 3 just by itself, a number 3 or a number 19. And that's the head molds. And a lot of times you'll see the year. Now, they didn't put a specific year for every year they made them, like 1982, 83, 84. They put like a range, or they'll put the first year, and then they never changed the mold after that. Mm-hmm. But one of the tattletales for a head mold 13 are the gap teeth in the top. So if you run across a Cabbage Patch doll and you pick it up and you see the gap in the teeth, and it's a full-size doll, not one of the preemies or the half-size ones, there's a pretty good chance it's a head mold 19. I'm
gonna keep an eye out for them gap teeth.
Yeah, so if you find And they've got some that have buck teeth, and there's some little different, but the ones that have teeth, especially if they've got the gap in the center in the top, you should look those up because they can be pretty expensive. And if you have any questions about them, don't contact me. I'm not the expert. The Daily Cabbage is the expert. You can find her on Instagram. She's not hard to find. So go follow Sarah on Instagram. She does giveaways when she hits milestones. And she puts out some really great pictures of these dolls. And she's always willing to help. So if you run across a Cabbage Patch doll and you need help with it, jump on Instagram and send her a message and send her some pictures. I promise you she'll help you. Oh, and if you guys have not subscribed to Dalton, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Dalton is one of the, I think I said in my Instagram reel, he's one of the more affable shoe resellers and resellers in general on social media.
Appreciate that.
He's always been nice to me. He's always helped me out. He helped me figure out my shipping. He kind of coached me a little here and there as I was coming up as a reseller of shoes and things like that. And big help to me. So, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Of course. I appreciate you having me.
My pleasure. Let's see. And let me check this chat room here. Make sure I haven't throw them in the washer and done. Kent, yeah, go ahead. No, she can even take the things apart and put them back together. Excellent. Not my favorite. Well, we run back across the cottage cheese and scrambled eggs, but my favorite scrambled eggs are with sauteed onions and a little bit of cheese.
Hey, that sounds pretty good to me.
So instead of using shredded cheddar next time, I'll put a little cottage cheese in it.
There you go.
Now, do you cook it into them or add it at the end?
No, I cook it in with it.
All right, I'll try that out. Now, I think we got everything, covered everything.
Ooh-wee.
And I told you I like to keep it to an hour, and we're just barely over. So,
perfect.
You got any parting words for people?
Oh man, if you're getting into selling shoes, dealingwithdalton.com, you can purchase some shoe trees, make them look nice and pretty, keep them nice and aired out, good for cleaning. Yeah. I got to throw my plug in.
Yeah,
again, yeah, just thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Hey man, hang around. We're going to shut the show down. I'll holler at you in just a second.
Sure.
Go Celtics. All right.